It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
Greetings from my tub. I'm in here getting 5% cash back when I pay in full with PayPal. No fees, no interest. Make the most of your money this holiday with PayPal. Save the offer in the app.
Ends 12/31. See paypal.com/promo terms. Points can be redeemed for cash and more. Paying for subject to terms and approval. PayPal link at NMLS 910457.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's go to Miranda Devine because we have Miranda Devine who's going to join in the conversation with Ed Cox and also Mike Sapricone. Miranda, first of all, your thoughts tonight. We have not talked to you. This is a disaster for New York, a disaster for America.
Yes. Hi, Rita and Ed and Mike. Look, it is, but I think we should take some perspective from the fact that we lived through the de Blasio days. And honestly,
Miranda, I'm going to beg to differ. And I hear what you're saying. The only reason I'm saying this is different. This guy, and Mike is shaking his head and agreeing with me, this guy is such a true believer, a true fanatic. De Blasio definitely made an enormous amount of mistakes. He lost the faith clearly of the NYPD, who turned their backs on him at the funeral and elsewhere. But this guy is the defund the police, the virulent anti-Semitism that we're hearing, the praising the suicide bombers from the father, the hanging out with Hassan Piker, who famously said not that long ago that America deserved 9/11. And then let's not forget the crazy imam who was the co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. This guy, to me, is a whole new breed. And I think it's really frightening. That's what's so scary. And I know you understand that all too well, Miranda.
Yes, look, I'm not downplaying the threat, but I'm just saying that this is the way that the Democratic Party has been going for some time. And if you talk about defunding the police, $1 billion was stripped out of the NYPD already during the pandemic. So this is just going to be Mamdani. He's newly invigorated. He's pretending that his election, he just told us, is New York is going to be the light. And he means that they're going to lead the rest of America down this torturous trail to socialism, communism, really, as Donald Trump said. And really, I think we're all suffering because, as you have said, the Democratic Party is not able to get its act together. It is going through a silent civil war. It's only silent because the media refuses to even acknowledge that it exists. And it's a battle between the energized radical youth wing and the gerontocracy of the Democrat establishment. And they've put out there now in Virginia and New Jersey their sort of conservative-coded veteran women, you know, a CIA woman and a Navy pilot woman as that's their sort of last gasp. That's their window dressing to pretend to their voters that it's still a normal party and you can have these moderate, these lovely women. They're just as radical in effect because all their policies are so anti-human. They're all can only be arrived at through coercion, and it is a path to ruin.
And by the way, Mikey Sherrill too. Let's not forget she was one of the first ones to embrace Mamdani, just as you said. You're right.
She's the Navy pilot, and Abigail Spanberger in Virginia, both victorious as governors. She's the CIA, the ex-spook. So it's a bad situation all around, but we know that the Democrats are terrible, and I think there is good news in this because, A, it strengthens the arm for Elise Stefanik or a Republican governor in New York. You know, when Cuomo was governor, he was the one that opened the door to cashless bail, etc. He pretended when he was running this time, that lackluster campaign, that he was running from the right as a kind of a proper moderate. But no, he wasn't. When he governed as a leftist, I think because he wanted to, at least at the end of his term, because he wanted to become president. So All of that is good news that we'll have a sensible Republican who will handcuff Mamdani. And then, in terms of galvanizing Republicans and stiffening the spines of the spineless ones, I think this is just going to make Donald Trump redouble his efforts to get the filibuster overturned. And I know that's, it's not the right thing to do in a previous life, but now when we are playing on rules that Democrats have overturned and rewritten, we can't be playing by the old Marquis of Queensberry rules.
Miranda, you're talking about some really powerful stuff because you also triggered, and Ed Cox is here too as well. And I'm thinking about Trump in particular. I'm waiting to see. In fact, Trump just put out, and so it begins. That was a post that just came out saying, and so it begins. Obviously, he has been very much watching the race here, needless to say, in New York. Certainly, he was trying to do whatever he could to pull some Curtis Sliwa voters to go over to Cuomo, seeing that Cuomo was so far ahead of Sliwa in the polls. Obviously, the results bore that out, too, as well. But he also said a powerful thing that if a communist gets into New York, he said he is not going to want to give federal dollars because he believes it'll be wasted, that this guy's going to have such ridiculous excesses and frivolous and not well-intentioned policies that he doesn't think American taxpayers should foot the bill. What do you see as ahead, Miranda? And I am also curious to get Ed's thoughts, too, in terms of where this is headed with the war between, this is going to be a war royale. I mean, already earlier today, there was the bomb threats in New Jersey. And what does Zoran Mondani do? He blames Trump. It had nothing, of course, to do with Trump. I say the sky is raining. He'd blame Trump. But he's clearly positioning himself as sort of the guy who's going to try to take on Trump in New York City, the Democratic Socialist, extremist Islamist. And then you're going to have Trump who's saying, not on my watch. So where is this going, Miranda?
Well, I look at Mamdani tonight and I just think pride goeth before a fall. He's very cocky. He's very arrogant. He has no idea what he's doing. And he's brought himself a world of trouble. And I think that what we're going to see is that there's going to be a huge point of contention between New York City, now run by Mamdani, and the federal government when it comes to illegal migration. And Mamdani has vowed to double down on the sanctuary city laws. And what that is doing is it's hurting the very working class that he pretends that he is championing. He's not doing that at all, because the illegal migrants come here, they get free everything, and that therefore they're able to work for slave wages, and therefore they push out working New Yorkers from jobs. And those same New Yorkers can't get the same welfare benefits that are so easily available to these illegal migrants. So from square one, his sanctuary city obsession is going to cripple his mayoralty, and that's my prediction.
The problem is you can do a lot of damage in the meantime, and I agree. I think he is going to be a disaster for New York. The fear we all have, and I'm looking at Ed Cox and also Mike Sapricone, you can do a heck of a lot of damage with his radical, crazy policies. And he has telegraphed who he is. He hasn't even sugarcoated it. Now he is about to be the mayor, and you can do a lot of damage. You understand New York very well, my friend.
Yes, but New York is a tough city. It is a blue-collar city. I still have faith that it will be able to survive even Mondani. And I see that the Democratic Party at war with itself, and the radical left has won. I cannot think of one leader, including those who were elected governor in New Jersey and Virginia. They're not leaders for the party. The leader of the party is now AOC, and it is Zoran Mondani. And it's also the grandfather, of course, is Bernie Sanders. That's the leadership of the party. And it's a party that's completely out of step with what America's about and what New York City is about. So they are bound to failure. And this is a chance for the Republican Party to really become the majority party in the country. But we have to hold on to the MAGA base, if you will, to the working people of this country. We cannot let them be misled by the very sweet words of people like Mondani and AOC.
And Mike Zaprico.
Well, I think, Chairman, exactly what you said. But now, as Republicans and conservatives, it's our job over the course of the next year to build and unify right here in New York State in order to turn this state red. And there's a great opportunity for us here. And I think if we don't do it this time, I think there'll be a lot of problems down the road. And I think we're primed for that. And I think we're ready for that.
By the way, I want to also read a comment that I just saw. Bernie Sanders, of course, king of the left wing, is obviously praising Mondani's win. He just put out a tweet saying it is one of the greatest political achievements he believes in modern history. And he highlighted the fact, Ed, that we've all talked about, that Mondani started at 1%. Came out of nowhere. Suddenly all this money came in, and I know he's being investigated by Department of Justice to win now the biggest city in America.
Obama is responsible for the left taking over the party because he frustrated Bernie Sanders from becoming the candidate, the nominee of the party after he won Iowa. He won New Hampshire. He should have been the nominee of the party. He would have been defeated.
That's right. They blocked him out.
And they blocked him out. And instead, they got Biden, who Obama must have known he was Gaga. He was known as the dumbest guy in the U.S. Senate, and he obviously had failed on every major foreign policy issue to that time. So the leadership of the party failed, and the Bernie Sanders people took over. But they are not in step with the people of New York City or the people of the country. In the end, we have to pull together the coalitions that we need as Republicans in order to win back here in New York and all across the country.
By the way, I want to read a statement too. This is Mondani calling out Trump in his speech. As I say, he has cojones. So he came out here as in his victory speech, and he said, "So Donald Trump." Actually, we have the audio. Actually, I just understand. Let's play it. Here it is. Here's Mondani.
So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
And then he went on about how the city has become unaffordable, but that's guts. Miranda calling out, here he is praising his parents. He brought up the auntie, of course, with that whole 9/11 story. And then he calls out Donald Trump. This guy is going to be an in-your-face mayor. Your thoughts, Miranda?
Well, I mean, that's what his voters wanted. And, everything comes down for them to Trump. He tried to, during the campaign, make Trump an issue. Democrats don't have anything real. Like, even his policy prescriptions are so childish and kind of miniature, like free buses and a free grocery store in every borough. They're ridiculous. The free childcare for all is big, but, I mean, he'll never get it done. And so they really have is opposition to Donald Trump. And some of the exit polls showed that across the country that was a big driver. And there were a lot of women who voted, inordinately more than men for the Democrats. And so I think this is the division that we've seen since the beginning of the Trump era. And this is the Democratic Party finally trying to come to grips with Trump's sort of runaway populism. And it was always, I think, during, Bernie Sanders sort of had the left-wing populism, the sort of mirror image of MAGA. And he was cheated by the Democratic Party out of winning any primaries. And so when you do that, just as Donald Trump was cheated out of winning in 2020, When you cheat people, what happens is you get unintended consequences.
Yep,
and this is what's happened to the Democratic Party. They've got Zoran.
Yep. Boy, is it a mess. And it's a mess for New York. Miranda, thank you. We love you. Thank you for joining us so much, my friend. Thank you.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.